I'm going to start off with a little surprise for you. So we have reached out to previous children's librarians, and we had them all read the same story for us, and we've combined it together. So you'll get a little walk down memory lane with our children's librarian. So enjoy the story.
Yankton Community Library. This is from Nebraska.
Hi everyone, I'm Amanda Raish, and I'm super excited to be able to share a story with you today.
Hi, it's Cassie, the current Youth Services Librarian. Happy birthday, Yankton Community Library. Today we'll be reading Chicken Story Time by Sandy Asher.
You can see the pictures. It says Public Library, Story Time at the Library. Story Time at the Library. Okay, all the kids are coming in. One librarian, one story, and a chicken. Story time?
The children like the chicken. The chicken likes the children. Let's begin, says the librarian. Everyone loves story time.
1 week later, story time at the library. Notice a few more chickens on the page.
One librarian, one story, more children.
And more chickens. The children like the chickens. The chickens like the children. Please be seated, said the librarian. Everyone loves story time.
Tons and tons of chickens.
1 week later, story time at the library.
1 librarian, 1 story, many children, many chickens. There are a lot of chickens there on the bookshelves, on the tables, on the book carts.
The children laugh, the chickens cluck. Cluck, cluck, cluck. Settle down, says the librarian. No one can hear her. Cluck, cluck, cluck. Cluck, cluck. Let's begin, she says. Cluck, 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 cluck.
Please be seated. And she said, settle down. Children and chickens everywhere. But only one librarian. What should we do? Looks like fun. But she gets an idea.
Story time at the library. Lots of children, flocks of chickens.
Shelves and shelves of stories. The children like the chickens like the children. See, the kids are reading to the chickens. Each child has a few chickens to read to. Everyone loves story time.
Especially the librarian.
You guys noticed we were missing one of them. Victoria was not on there. She was not feeling well, so she didn't get to participate in the chicken story time, but I bet she would have added a lot of oomph to that story. So I'm gonna just get this out here real quick. All right, so first of all, I really want to thank everyone for coming today. It's great to see a full room and so many faces here, so thank you for taking time out of your day to come. My name is Dana Schmidt, and I'm the current library director here. So the ribbon cutting for this building was exactly 50 years ago today. There are some things that have not changed very much since 1973, including the chairs that you guys are sitting in, original to the building. But there are many ways that the library has evolved and changed over the years to meet the needs of our community. Our library is vibrant, engaging, and service-oriented institution in the community. Just this month, we will be offering opportunities for an adult craft night, a teen after-hours event, a partnership with the Mead Cultural Education Center where kids will learn to make butter, an opportunity to experience hygge, which is the Danish art of coziness, with board games, puzzles, and cuddly cats visiting from the Heartland Humane Society. People that are drawn to work in and support libraries are often creative, compassionate, tech-savvy, and very well-read. Each one has shared their talents and left their mark on the library and the community. So I'd like to start today by giving some recognition to those individuals in the room that have had a hand in making the library what it is today. There are a few former library directors here, so if you could stand up, please. You didn't know you were going to be on the spot, did you? We have Jim Schultz, Kathy Wibbles, and Tanya Olson-Farrell joining us today. Thank you guys for being here. And then I'd like any current or former staff members to stand, please. I'm not going to know everybody's name, so you can stand. Thank you. Any current or former Board of Trustee members? Any current or former friends of the library? Current or former city or county leaders? And then anyone that has come to a library program or has a library card, which is all of you guys. You are all part of Yankton Community Library's story. We'd love to take some quick photos of those groups after the presentation, so if you would stick around. Cassie's in the back there, she's the one with the camera. But she'll kind of call out different groups at the end, so if you're in one of those groups, if you would listen for your name, we'd love to get some pictures taken. And I want to thank all of you for your passion, dedication, and support of our library throughout the years. I truly feel that our library is the heart of the community, welcoming to all, providing not only informative and educational materials, but as our city mission states, creating opportunities for everyone to learn, engage, and thrive. At Yankton Community Library, books are just the beginning. I'd like to share a presentation with you about the history of the library. Thank you to Kelly and Linda and Liz, looks like Liz ducked out, for doing lots of digging through old library board minutes, newspaper articles, scrapbooks, photos, all that good stuff to put this together. And I'd also like to give credit to a former staff member, Barb Papik, who did a lot of thorough research, and we referenced her stuff several times throughout preparing for this event. I'll try to be quick, but not speed along too fast. I also wanted to say, I don't know if anyone has a library card like this, but I actually saw two of these before the presentation. We always call these our vintage cards. They're like they're just really cardboard with a little metal piece on there. So I'll put this in the display too, but it is really pretty amazing that people still have these and hang on to them. We're here today celebrating 50 years in this building, but the history of libraries in Yankton goes back much further than that. In 1865, as the first capital of Dakota Territory and the location of the territorial legislature, Yankton offered a very fair law library, but the collection was limited and not very accessible to the average user. The significance of libraries continued to grow in Yankton, much like the rest of the country in the coming years as Carnegie libraries began popping up. Carnegie libraries were built with donated funds from businessman and philanthropist Andrew Carnegie. Between 1883 and 1929, 2,509 Carnegie libraries were built all over the world. The Yankton Carnegie Library was established 120 years ago and officially opened in October 1903. This is the building that still stands at 4th and Capitol. It was one of 25 Carnegie libraries built in South Dakota at the time. The first order of business was to hire a librarian. There were 7 applicants for the librarian, and the library board voted and elected Jesse Bartholomew as the librarian for the ensuing year at $30 per month. There was only one other staff person at that time, which was a janitor, and he was getting $25 a month. So, Jessie was also expected to travel to Minneapolis at her own expense to get training for this position. So luckily our budget has increased a little bit. The early years of the library service were focused on growing the collection. There was not a children's librarian, so volunteers from the community would come and read stories to the kids on Saturdays for story time. They began developing more services and programs for the community, including outreach programs for the homebound. The seeds for some of the services that we offer today started in that building. In the 1960s, many Carnegie libraries were beginning to wear out, including the Yankton Carnegie Library. The library board decided it would be too expensive to renovate the Carnegie building, so they began plans for a new library. As you can see from that quote there were a lot of issues with the building, including bats. So I'm glad that has changed since then as well. There also was inadequate parking, inaccessibility for those with physical disabilities, antiquated climate control, and on and on and on. Title I of the Library Services and Construction Act of 1966 provided federal funding assistance in library construction. It was because of the possibility of federal assistance that the library board began to make plans for a new building. As part of the federal funding, the library required a professional librarian, so in 1967, Lucille Walensky had her master's degree in library science, and she took over the leadership of the Carnegie Library. In Mrs. Walensky's 1969 annual report to the library board, she wrote, "It is hoped that the community will find a way soon to replace this very antiquated and inadequate building by one that may more completely serve the informational and recreational needs of the 1970s and future decades." There's a great picture of the first construction of the building. Funding for the new library came from a combination of federal funding and raising the mill levy from the research that we found, so I can't explain that all to you, but that's what it says. Several locations were considered for the new library. The location of the central school on the corner of 6th and Walnut was ideal. The library board met with the school board, and after discussing the trade and determining there were no legal barriers, the two properties were traded. There they are, getting ready to move into the new building. On February 10th, 1973, ribbon cutting and dedication ceremonies for the new library were held. Officially named the Yankton Community Library in an effort to symbolize the community spirit that had made the new building a reality. The building cost $250,893, or roughly $16 per square foot. The new library included many top-notch technology necessities, such as typewriters, film strips, Here are a few of the statistics to compare how the space was used when the library first opened to where we are now 50 years later. So the library is 15,400 square feet. In 1973, there were 34,000 physical books on the shelves, and the library was built to accommodate up to 60,000 volumes. Today, we hold 75,561 physical books, so we've filled that capacity. Kelly, can you come here for a second? I'm having a little technical problem. Here's some of the formats and practices that are no longer used at the library. Okay, we'll go with it. We'll go with it.
Got this.
Lost some of my notes here. So here's a few of the things that we have done away with since 1973. So we got rid of our books on cassette. Dial a Story, which I've heard many stories about. I didn't get to experience myself, but a lot of people have that as a core memory. One that I was here for was stopping stamping due dates on the books, and that was hard for a lot of people to change that. And fines on late books. That was something that started in 2018. Tanya Olson-Farrell started that when she was director. So a lot of things that have gone away, but if you'll notice, we've added a lot more along the way. I have just a really quick, like, Vanna White short story, show and tell for you. Some of the things that are on the list, we've added NASA backpacks, which have telescopes in them to check out. We have Lego kits. We're coming soon doing state park passes that we're checking out. We have a citizenship kit for those that are interested in becoming American citizens. And another coming soon item is a tactile exploration kit. So we actually had a grandma that called us one day and asked if we had any Braille playing cards, which we did not. And she said her granddaughter who was blind was in town, and so she was kind of looking for stuff to do with her. So we purchased a deck of Braille playing cards, and we thought, why stop there? Why not make more of an experience out of it? So there's Braille Uno cards, a Braille Rubik's Cube, different things like that. So I think it's another cool thing that people don't think of that we have. In 1973, there was room to grow within the library. Today, every inch is being used. We have rearranged and repurposed items and spaces in the library many times, sometimes getting rid of formats or furniture, but there is always another need or format quick to fill that space. We have a few then and now photos to show some of the changes over the years. And just a reminder, we are going to offer tours after the presentation, so we'll kind of highlight some of these things if you go on one of the tours. There's our adult area with the indoor garden. That's what it looks like now. This space now contains many of our public computers and what we often refer to as the quiet room. The Yankton Community Library received a $100,000 grant as part of the American Rescue Plan Act at the end of 2021. We used that money to purchase 24 new computers for all the public and staff workstations. The grant money also allowed us to update our data wiring and digitize most of our microfilm. We found some really great photos. I don't know who did the scrapbooks around here, but there were some interesting scrapbooks around. If you notice on the picture on the right, we still have that exact chalkboard and those same stools. And there's story time, they're watching a film strip. We also have those tables and the little plastic chair that child is on. And there's just a more modern story time in that space. It was a Halloween story time with Amanda Raish. Our youth services area. And then the circulation desk when the library first opened was where we have our computers at now. And so, as you can imagine, that changed the space, and the amount of space that was in the lobby has decreased a lot, but some changes there. Since the opening of the Carnegie Library in 1903 and the new building in 1973, The Yankton Community Library has continued to serve the community by growing its collections, offering updated technology, and providing unique programs and services for everyone in our great community. Here's where I lost all my notes, but the staff today and of years past have really been dedicated to the library and to the community. And I feel like as we're preparing for this and hearing all the stories, that's been very evident of people having a lot of memories of the library. So, and I think we have a particularly outstanding staff right now. I'm very lucky to work with them. And I feel like they keep surprising me and keep showing up every day. So I'm thankful for that. Just a few pictures of some of our more recent events over the last few years. Just kind of flip through some of those. One thing too is I feel like we provide services beyond our walls a lot more. So there's a photo here of Riverboat Days and partnering with the Mead for Cemetery Walk. We represented the library at the Pumpkin Patch this year. I wasn't going to let you miss the pirate photo. The library staff also like to dress up a lot, so we have a lot of themed dress-up days. Lego Club at the Mead. Whenever the dinosaur comes out, we know it's going to be a good day. So.
I took out a lot of kids with my tail when I was a dinosaur.
There's some pictures from our outreach program. So the library's main source of funding comes from the city, but there are other important groups that help support the library. Our library board, our Friends of the Library, and our library foundation. There are representatives here from each group that will briefly share with you the mission of the group they represent. So I'm going to pass it over to Sharon Gerhardt first. Look at her prepared with her notes.
Really? It's like, what an act to follow here. And I'm like, 50 years, that's really quite an accomplishment. And I'm thinking, I'm not that old, am I? Yes, I am representing the Friends of the Library today. And I'd just like to share a little bit with you about what the Friends of the Library is about and what they do. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we're composed completely of volunteers who support our library, as Dana said, through purchasing things for the library that is not within their budget. And we do that by the memberships that we have and simply monetary donations that people give to us, and also fundraising. And of course, our fundraising, maybe many of you know us as from our used book sales that we have been conducting. We have been holding book sales indoors and outdoors the last few years. Our indoor sales have been in October and January, and there'll be one in April. And as a Friends member, a special little perk is if you are a member of the Friends, you can have early access to shopping before it's open to the public. Our outdoor sales have been June, July, and September. Those are shorter sales, of course. They only last a few hours, where the ones indoors here in the library go over several days. The outdoor ones, it's kind of interesting, you know, that happened during the pandemic. We were trying to figure out ways in which we could reach the public with everybody staying home. So the Friends purchased tents and set things up outside, and we haven't quit. We keep doing the outdoor sales, and they have been wonderful, and I think we reach a different audience even, because as passersby come by, they go, oh, what's going on here? And they stop, and maybe not so many people, a lot of those people might not shop indoors. So it's been a good thing for us, and we have a good time doing it. And of course, this all doesn't happen without all of the memberships and all the people that help support us as the Friends group. Our last sale, we had over 30 volunteers that helped put out books, sort books, and take down. Then of course, all the community that provides us with books, and we've added puzzles and board games to our sales now. But we love the books that people bring in for us, and we love recycling them and they get circulated out into the community. What do we do with this money? As Dana said, we purchase things that Dana often brings to us as requests for the library. And most recently, where's our Keurig machine? Do we have it out or no? Not, okay, well anyway, we just recently purchased a Keurig machine for the library. We also purchased 4 kids chairs for out in the children's section. One of them is on display back there by our table. We also provide all the programming for the summer, or provide the money for the summer reading performers. We also support the fish tank that's in the hallway, a blue bookshelf that's out there, a bench on the south side of the library. That is not the bench that we are purchasing, but it's a temporary bench. We collaborated with Keep Yankton Beautiful, and they provided all the landscaping for us, and we provided the bench. Let's see. Oh yes, and I think it was mentioned, we also help support or collaborate with the Mead Cultural Center. We provide passes. If you hold a library card, you can check out family passes for the Mead Cultural Center. Coming up in March, we are working with the Mead Cultural Center and providing a performer here in the library that's coordinated with their exhibit that's going on right now out at the Mead. Let me see. Oh, I'm going to let you, I'm not the only person here that's involved with the, I mean, there's a lot of us here that are involved with the Friends of the Library, as Dana, as it was displayed when Dana asked for members to stand. But I am co-president, actually. Joyce Brunken, a former staff member from the library, is co-president with me, and Sandy Winkleman is our treasurer. Robin Feimer is our secretary, and Nick Severson is our membership and vice president. If you would like to know more about us, we have a table over there. We'd be happy to take your memberships, or if you would care to leave a monetary donation, we would love that too. We love spending money for our library, and we do what we do because we love our library, and we love the library, or we love the community that we serve.
Sharon. Our friends work very hard. Sharon's often in here sorting through books, and a lot of other members are too, so we appreciate all they do. And they're a very generous group. It's nice to know when I have a request, a lot of times they're just like, yep, let's do it. So that's a great group to work with. Next, I'd like to bring up Kathy Wibbles. She is the current president of the foundation, and she can tell us a little bit about what they do. Also, sorry, Joyce, I forgot to mention you as co-president.
I'll live.
Good afternoon, and thank you to Dana and her staff for putting this on. You know, when we're in the library, there's always a full room, and I love it that everybody is so dedicated to the library. As Dana said, I am a former director here, and now I am president of the Yankton Community Library Foundation. We were established in 2009, and we have a fourfold purpose. That first purpose is to provide funding for the library for special projects that they do above and beyond the money that they get from the city. That is first and foremost how they are funded. Well, we have yet to do anything like that, but I'm hoping I can promise you we're going to at some point. The second thing we do is we receive gifts and bequests from the public who are like-minded in that they know how important the library is to the community, and they want to continue with a partnership with the library and give funding that will keep this library going on and on and on and providing the services that they do. The third thing that we do is we educate the public, try to increase their awareness of all the programs and all the services that this library provides. And Dana's list was long. I bet you didn't get them all. It's amazing what this library does, and I am so proud to have been a part of it. And then the fourth thing we do, and for us, that is going to become the most important piece of what the foundation does. we are trying to increase the awareness of not only what goes on here, but the fact that we have been out of space in this building for decades, and I mean decades. If you looked up in the ceiling and saw all the spaghetti of the technology that runs through there, it's scary. I hope the fire chief isn't here. I know he is.
My fault.
But all of the program that they do, it takes space not only to do the programs, but it takes storage space to store the crafts for the children, the crafts for the adults, and it goes on and on and on. And this library is a wonderful building, but it is no longer meeting the needs of the community. And to that end, the vision of the foundation is to bring a new state-of-the-art library to this community so that they will always have something that will meet the needs of all people in the community and not just a few. So that leads me to my next thing. We're always looking for board members, and the most important thing for a board member for the foundation, because we only meet 4 times a year, but what you need to bring to the table is a passion for the library and what they provide for the community. If you are interested in becoming a member of the foundation, please talk to me or one of the foundation members. If you are on the foundation board, please stand up. We're sprinkled throughout. We don't feel like we work very hard, although I can tell you we're going to start working harder. But I'm looking forward to the challenge, and I can't wait for it to start happening. So keep posted, keep tuned in. More will be coming, and I can't wait for that to happen. So again, thank you very much, Dana. I love it. It's great. And it's nice to reconnect with people. You walk out the door after working for so many years and you think, oh, I'll keep seeing those people. And you don't. I think I sit at home and read too much. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Kathy was the director that hired me, so I'm thankful to her and thankful to be here. So next I'm going to ask Jerry Weber to come up. She's representing the City Commission, but she also serves a spot on our library board, so she's going to talk a little bit about both of those things.
I am coming up on my 11th year on the City Commission, and one of the great pleasures of that is to get to serve on the Board of Trustees. And I remember when they cut the ribbon for this building. So, and I remember the old building too. I'm not old. And this staff and Dana, you guys are so good. For my real job, I'm a social worker, and a lot of the stuff that the staff does here is real social worky. So you have wonderful folks that serve you and the community. On the library board, we meet once a month and we set policy. We offer feedback and suggestions, and we work together. We also participate in community events and continuing education, which has been really fun. Learning about new innovations and services, and it's fun to be a part of this group. You've already heard all the great services that they provide. COVID was a weird time, and I love how creative you guys got in serving the community. The curbside pickup, the Wi-Fi. I love how you proctor tests. I'm in school right now, so it's really nice to have that option too. Interlibrary loans, and I'm not in this building that much, but I have an e-reader, so I borrow books a lot, and I appreciate that. But more than all of these is this culture and this environment here. It is warm, it is welcoming, it's a safe place for people, and this has been said already, but the mission of the City of Yankton is to provide exemplary experiences, services, and spaces opportunities for everyone to learn, engage, and thrive, and that describes our library perfectly. So, thank you for all the work that you do. Thank you all for how you participate in our community and in this library. You are what makes it special.
All right, just gonna wrap up then. Thank you guys all for coming. This really is a great place to be, a great place to work. I feel very lucky to be here. And we have all kinds of people supporting us in the community, and that's a great feeling. It's, you know, the staff kind of tease me sometimes. It's hard to like go to Walmart or something without someone stopping me to talk about library things, but you know, that's a good thing to talk about. So it's been really fun. So please have a cupcake, have some refreshments. If you'd like to stick around for a tour, that would be awesome. And then we're gonna do some photos afterwards as well. So thank you all for coming.